Welcome to a not comprehensive and only mildly drunken review of My Wife, the Abuser, captured by Hidden Camera, I think it's called. It was a documentary, a two-part documentary. It's currently on Netflix. I believe it originally aired here in the UK, at any rate, on Channel 5. And it documents the life of a couple called Cherie and Richard. And Richard was the victim of some pretty violent, very, very violent, near deadly domestic abuse at the hands of Cherie over the course of 20 fucking years. Really horrifying stuff. And it was so bad, in fact, that in certainly the latter years of that ordeal that he went through, he installed cameras in his house and actually recorded some of this as secret sort of hidden camera footage, which was invaluable to the police later on when it got so bad that he confided in a friend of his what was going on and sent him one of these videos to say, look, you know, it's like a sanity check. It's like, am I blowing this out of proportions in my own mind, or is this bad? And his mate was like, this made me cry like a grown man. It made him cry seeing what had happened to his friend Richard, and without Richard's consent, sent it on to the authorities, and then the police were called, and the rest is history. I believe Cherie is now serving a 4-year sentence for at least a part of the crimes that she committed against Richard, at least those that could be proved in court, not least because of the incredible evidence that Richard had managed to gather. And of course, in all instances of domestic abuse, there are two competing conjectures in my mind about this. And the first one, of course, concerns the abuser, concerns Cherie, and it is obviously the one that most of us hold, which is that, you know, she's clearly a psychopath. She's clearly a control freak. She clearly is a bully. She preys on the weak. She victimizes people. She's psychopathic. She's narcissistic. She's sociopathic. All those kind of things. She's evil, right? You see these videos, and I urge you to go and watch this documentary. But some of the things that she's doing to her husband in these videos is evil. I mean, there's no doubt about that. She's an evil human being. So that's conjecture number one, and it concerns the perpetrator of these things. Conjecture number two concerns Richard. It concerns the victim. And the question is always with these things, when you hear about this, you know, terrible act of violence that people do to each other, particularly within the confines of a relationship where there's supposed to be trust and love, and you're sort of almost held there because you've sort of tried to build a life together and you want to protect that, is, yeah, okay, you are, but why the fuck would you ever stay? That's the mind-boggling thing, I suppose, that we grapple with as a society. And for those of us that are looking at this from the outside, it's like, look, I know for my own self that the very moment a partner laid hands on me, that would be the last time they ever fucking did that. That would be the last time. It'd be the first and it'd be the last. They'd be out that fucking door so fast. They'd be done. That would be it. Curtain closed on it. End of fucking discussion. And I think for most people, they would feel the same. However, we have to then delve under the skin, because clearly there are people in this society, in this world, as human beings, as this race of human beings that we all share, that don't react like that under those circumstances. So Richard, as a victim, as he is, and this isn't to blame him or shame him or point the finger or anything like that, but he is weak. And he's weak. Why? He's weak because he's too nice. He's a people pleaser. He's too forgiving. He doesn't want to upset the apple cart. He loves his wife, and he says this even in the sort of denouement at the end of the documentary. He said, you know, when she's in prison, and you know, obviously they have split up. I'm thankful to say, but he says at the end that he hopes that she has a happy life afterwards. He doesn't wish her any ill will. There is nothing about his character that has anything but forgiveness for Cherie. And look, you know, biblically speaking, forgiveness is something we should all strive for, even if it's incredibly difficult. But for some people, it comes incredibly easy. And for some people, I would suggest it comes too fucking easy. There has to be a point when we can draw lines in the sand about how we protect ourselves, both physically and emotionally, from those around us that do us harm. And not everybody in this world has the ability to protect themselves. They don't have the armor mentally or physically in order to create those boundaries around them that protect themselves from harm. So I think we as a society need to look out for those people. We all know somebody that's a little bit too nice, a little bit too naive, a little bit too soft, a little bit too trusting, a little bit too much of a people pleaser. And they're the ones that are vulnerable to this. It's not to say that every single people pleaser is going to be a victim of domestic abuse, especially not to the degree that poor old Richard was, but they're the ones that we need to look out for the most. And if they start to withdraw more into their shell, if they become more quiet, if they exhibit injuries, their partner seems a little aggressive, a little off, whatever it is, we need to have mark one eyeball on our friends and on our families, those of us that, you know, have people in our social circles, whatever, who exhibit these personality traits, to look out for them, because they are not capable of looking after themselves. Richard spent 20 years suffering at the hands of this abusive woman. And it doesn't matter if it's a woman abusing a man or a man abusing the woman. It doesn't matter at all. People pleasers come in all genders, come in all races, come in all everything. That, you know, whatever the LG 4K TV brigade want to fucking give us as an alphabet soup these days for fucking human beings, it comes in all of them too. But look out for those people, because they are incapable of looking out for themselves. And yes, Cherie is a monster. She's an evil fucking monster, as abusers are. But Richard is weak, as victims of domestic abuse are. There is something about them that is weak, that is incapable of protecting themselves. And so if you know somebody like that, look out for them before they have to get to the point of fucking what Richard had to go through for 20 motherfucking years. Adios.